Well, it's going to be a very close race, whatever happens, with Steve Quick claiming the pole position, Ken Savage alongside him, Luigi Mazza in third and Stuart Rowland fourth. Those are the drivers who were very much ahead of the field at Snetterton at the start of the season. Emma Selway in sixth could be the real wild card. The ex-Formula Palm Rowdy racer always goes well here at Silverstone. We get a green flag at the rear of the field as the revs begin to rise. Waiting for the off. Away we go. Brilliant start from Steve Quick from pole position. Quick launches into the lead as the enormous pack makes its way towards Copse for the first time. It's going to be very close into Copse for the first time. Quick to the outside. It's Ken Savage to the inside and Mazza in the third yellow cars with the black stripes also in the mix, and Stuart Rowland, that's the black machine you can see challenging as well. Everybody cleanly through Copse, which is what we want to see as they head on towards Beckett's for the first time, and it's Savage who's got the advantage from Stuart Rowland and Luigi Valentino Mazza. So Steve Quick, having led into Copse, has been bullied all the way down to fourth position by the time they arrive at Beckett's. So they go through the Beckett's complex, accelerate then onto Chapel Curve. This is where they just plant the right feet as they sprint down the hanger straight, and those cars heading on towards Abbey as our race leader Ken Savage has still got now a queue of 5 cars in his tail, because Emma Selway and Steve Quick have brought themselves back into the mix, and Quick launches himself to the inside of Emma Selway and claims fourth position. Not sure that Emma really saw that one coming. Steve Quick just said, that will do me. So Emma Selway, we ride in car with her along Wellington Straight. She settles into the slipstream behind Steve Quick as Luigi Mazza looks to challenge Ken Savage once more, and Mazza goes very tight to the inside to Brooklands, and Ken Savage doesn't give him racing room, not really. Mazza's pushed onto the curbs. There's going to be contact, surely. Yes, there is, and Savage goes around. Stuart Rowland takes lead. Emma Selway takes avoiding action, so it's Rowland into the lead. Steve Quick jumps up into second position, but we'll get back into the race without too many problems. So we've now got a leading trio of Steve Quick, Stuart Rowland and Emma Selway. There is Dan Plant, who's coming up the order very nicely, as Quick has got Rowland right on his tail with Emma Selway in the silver car just watching from afar. So Steve Quick, he started in pole position, he got shuffled down the order, and now after this three race he's back in the lead, or is he? Because Stuart Rowland up the inside into Beckett's. What a brave manoeuvre as he draws alongside, but I think that Steve Quick's going to have the advantage through Chapel Curve. But Emma Selway, who wasn't dicing with either of them, has now got the most speed as they come onto the hanger straight. As Rowland goes very defensive, so does Steve Quick. Emma Selway just moves, and she moves to the outside of the circuit. She's going to take the conventional racing line, whereas Steve Quick and Stuart Rowland are going to have to go very defensive. In fact, Selway slightly balked because Stuart Rowland just had to jump on the anchors. He's got a very good run on the exit of Chapel Curve as we're into the Wellington Straight for the final time. So we've just got a couple of corners to go, one of which is Brooklands, and Steve Quick taking a very rigid defensive line on Stuart Rowland. Says nothing Rowland could do around the outside through Brooklands, so it's just Luffield and Woodcote to go, and Steve Quick again goes very defensive, so they fan out behind, and Emma Selway now looking to challenge the inside of Stuart Rowland, who in turn is trying to challenge the inside of Steve Quick. It's going to be a drag race to checker flag. It's been an absolutely brilliant race, this one, from Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, but Steve Quick is going to claim the win. He's won a couple of the consolation races for. This is his first outright round win, and Steve Quick takes a superb win after a stunning drive and a thrilling race. Stuart Rowland takes second and Emma Selway home in third position. That is the classification with Dan Plant up into fourth position, John Lemaster in fifth, Luigi Mazza following his adventures comes home in sixth position with Stuart Kirkbride in seventh, Adam Busey in eighth place. The Formula 2 podium home to 3 delighted drivers and a very warm round of applause.
Emma, congratulations, doing it for the girls. How do you feel?
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, a great race, really good fun. There's, you know, things happening constantly, so yeah, absolutely brilliant race. Tell me a bit about your race. A bit hectic at some points. I made a bit of a mistake, lost quite a lot of time, lost the position due to it, but thankfully the guys ahead were squabbling still, so I managed to claw them back. You know, I thought I might have a bit of a stab at second, but you know, third for my first race in a Lotus. I'll settle for that for now.
Fighting talk for Emma Selway. We'll see how she goes in race 2. Welcome back to Silverstone and the Lotus on Track Racing. This is Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, and this is 4 abreast for the lead into Brooklands, and it's Ken Savage who takes the lead away from Emma Selway with Luigi Mazza in third place and race 1 winner Steve Quick in fourth position. This is the second race of the weekend from the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy cars, and it has been very lively as we see a replay of John Lemaster, unfortunately having a bit of a moment, John rejoining lower down the order. So it's Savage who spun out of race 1 from Emma Selway, finished third in race 1, but is certainly looking to improve on that finish in race 2. She's the sole silver car in amongst the yellow machines. We go in car with Emma Selway as she climbs a slight incline towards Maggots, turning through Maggots. Now she's going to challenge Ken Savage to the lead. That will be very bold through Beckett's, probably one of the fastest parts of this Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. And I don't think she's quite close enough to Ken Savage to challenge this time. Instead, she'll look to get the run through Chapel Curve, which they arrive at now, and onto the Hangar Straight, although Matza as well is tucked very closely already into the rear spoiler behind Emma, looking to gain full advantage of the slipstream. And there's Steve Quick at the back of that train, these 4 cars blasting along the Hangar Straight and then fanning out under braking towards Stowe, and Selway goes for a very late move on Ken Savage, and has Ken Savage had time to cover that? No, he hasn't. Emma Selway goes through and into the race. That's a brilliant manoeuvre because she really caught Ken Savage by surprise. Luigi Mazza unable to capitalise, nor is Steve Quick. Now will Savage be able to fight back as they arrive into Vale, because Selway looking to take the racing line. Ken Savage, brakes locked up, through he goes, back into the lead. So Emma Selway, well, she enjoyed the lead for one corner, but it's now Savage who's got the advantage back as he slides the car through Club, with Emma Selway then looking to get the run, possibly on Ken Savage as they run towards Abbey. Out wide across the curbs is Matza as Selway moves the inside Ken Savage past the new pits complex here at Silverstone, and that's an incredibly brave manoeuvre into Abbey. Now, has she made that stick? Yes, she has. That stunning drive from Emma Selway, so she demotes Ken Savage as Luigi Mazza also looks into Village to move around the outside of Ken Savage. They have previous from race 1, and Mazza gets given the opportunity to explore the runoff area, and that could cost him a podium because he gets very sideways through the loop, and Steve Quick moves himself up into 3rd position as a result. So Mazza, well, he tried for 2nd, he's found himself in 4th and off the podium as Emma Selway leads the charge down the Wellington Straight once more. You can see what an advantage this group have got over the man in 5th place, that's Dan Plant, although he's got his own battle with Craig Denman, Phil Stratton Lake and Steve Train. Rival into Beckett's, and my goodness, Ken Savage really wants the win here because he is all over the tail of Emma Selway, the pair of them kicking up the dust as they go through this Beckett's complex. But it's, as we saw last time around, the run on the way down to Stowe that's all important, because it was Emma Selway had that run through Chapel Curve last time, but unfortunately a lot of damage to that car as Emma Selway at Stowe has been deposed by Ken Savage. So Savage moves in to lead the race, Emma Selway in 2nd, but we're coming towards the closing stages here, and that car of Andrew Kell will require moving. We could see a red flag here, and on count back, if the red flag comes out early enough, it's Selway who'll claim the win. But for the moment, she's just focused through Club Corner in picking her way past Ken Savage. This has been stopped, and we are too far into the race for the restart, so the results have been taken back a lap. So it's Emma Selway who claims the win from Ken Savage, and Steve Quick, a great day for him on the podium in 3rd place, with Luigi Mazza in 4th and Dan Plant in 5th position. And absolutely delighted Emma Selway, receiving the applause and the hugs down in the pit lane. I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed that, not least Emma. She gets a very warm handshake from Ken Savage and Steve Quick. The 3 of them thoroughly enjoyed that. On to the podium they go, arms clenched in the air, very sizable applause from down the pit lane as the champagne fight begins in earnest. But it's now about to get very serious because they come through to complete the warm-up lap, and the race is underway. Away we go as this huge field in Lotus Cup UK streams towards Copse for the first time, but it's the pole sitter Mark Fullilove who turns in lead the race, with Jamie Stanley then moving across in 2nd position, it's Williams in 3rd, and then Simon Deacon in 4th position. So the 211s with the Rogue Exige towards head of the field, and then the field just goes on forever as they arrive into a very congested Beckett's. James Knight in the pink punter car looking to make good progress, as is Marcus Jewell, and there is the 17 car well up in the production class. Then it's Emma Selway who is next through. She has got Steve Quick right on her tail as the action in the pit's already underway. David Fenn handing over to son Rob. Davido Fanini, it reads in his helmet, as Emma Selway, well up in the production class, has some tyre pressure adjustments made to the car. Jamie Stanley handing over to Glenn Sherwood. So for them back to the fight for production class honours. It's still Ken Savage, although Steve Quick is appreciably closer. In the back of your shot, you could see the silver car of Emma Selway coming into play. Yes, there is Emma. So Emma Selway, 3rd in production class, and homing in on the 2 drivers who are so busy fighting for production class honours that they're actually slowing themselves down and bringing Emma very much back into contention, as Steve Quick takes his turn to challenge Ken Savage as they run along Wellington Straight into Brooklands, and through into the production class goes Steve Quick. So Steve Quick, how long will he hold on from Ken Savage, who gets very sideways and goes across the grass? finds actually quite a bit more grip than I thought there would be, and he rejoins in second position, although his opportunity to challenge Steve Quick, I fear, is rather gone, because Ken Savage is now going to be under real pressure from Emma Selway, and Selway, carrying more speed through Woodcote, should be able to make her way past Ken Savage fairly easily as they run past the start and finish straight and into Copse Corner. That's exactly what she does. Underbrake into Copse, and Emma Selway moves into second in the production class as she now sets about closing in on Steve Quick. But what about the other positions? Well, a lap down, it's Emma Selway who's taken production class honours just from Steve Quick, and then it's the 11 car of Chris Dunster and Phil Bennett which has come home in third, just knocking Ken Savage off the podium at the very last. A great fight for production class honours. Those 4 cars coming across the line almost together, with Emma Selway winning production from Steve Quick, and then Chris Dunster and Phil Bennett rounding out the podium.